Shalom, giving all praises and all glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Ruach HaKodesh, double honors unto the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that rule well, and shalom to the 144,000 elect men of the nation of Israel, and the rest of the elect destined to be saved. I am the brother Caleb from the GMS UK London Forecasters Camp, back with another lesson to help edify those of which I spoke of. So this is a lesson going into DJ Trump's moves to deport what they call illegal aliens in America. And this has been going on since Trump got back in office. This is one of the first executive orders that he signed. And they've been rounding up and deporting a lot of you Israelites, be it from the northern tribes, or even southern tribes as well. No, Haiti's Levi. Well, I suppose you could call Levi kind of neutral. No, he's southern. Forgive me, I'm just working out my Levi Southern Kingdom. There was one Haitian guy screaming he's not going back to Haiti. You know, that was one of the clips that they were playing. But he's been sent back to Haiti, according to, is it Tom Holtzman? Is that the guy they put in charge of the border crisis? Well, either way, the point of the matter is that Trump's come back into office and he's not pulling any punches. He's been sending his ICE officers to round up and deport what they consider to be illegal aliens who are living in the United States of America without the correct documentation and visas. So let's read this, because this ties into a bigger thing. Let's read this. As migrants in shackles led on US military plane as Mexico refuses to accept deportation flight. It says an official said that it was the first time in recent memory that American military aircraft were being used to fly migrants out of the USA. Now, this was published a few days ago on Saturday, the 25th of January, and things have obviously progressed a bit more since then, but I'll read this article. As you can see, these are some of the deportees being led into the military plane in shackles. And, you know, when I look at that, it kind of reminds me of Jake being led into, you know, the slave ships in shackles. So, you know, Esau's still in rulership, and we are yet this day still in our captivity. But this is interesting because it's showing the true nature of Esau. And we're coming into the times when Esau's really going to begin to come down hard on Jake. And they've started by frame, which ultimately means coming down on us, the men of the Lord. You know, it's like Esau's setting up certain situations to give him the perfect, is the word pretext, if I'm not mistaken in using that word, or the perfect situation for him to come against the men of the Lord. So these situations here, they might look like isolated incidents, but they're not. They're really setting the stage where Esau's going to be able to come down with great wrath against the men of the Lord, as pertaining to Revelation 12 and verse 12. So let me read that briefly before I start. This is Revelation chapter 12 and verse 12. And it reads, therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. So that devil is Esau, the so-called white man, you know, the nation of the Edomites. They don't want to lose their kingdom, you know, so they're going to be fighting to do everything they can to prevent themselves from going down, which ultimately means they're going to come up against us, the men of the Lord. So the stage is being set. Let's read this. It says, US military aircraft have started flying detained migrants out of America on the orders of Donald Trump, as Mexico refused a request from his administration to allow a deportation plane to land in the country. It comes as the White House released images of men whose hands and ankles were shackled being led onto a plane. Mr. Trump's press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, posted photos on X and declared deportation flights have begun. She said Mr. Trump was sending a strong and clear message to the entire world. If you illegally enter the United States of America, you will face severe consequences. Now, this is ironic because that land really was given to our people, the Northern Kingdom, and the Edomites stole that land. And now it's called America, which in the Bible is known as Babylon the Great. And they shed a lot of blood of the tribes that were there, particularly of Gad and Reuben, in order to conquer that land. So that land is defiled by the blood that's been shed in it. Let me get this one. Hang on, just get a precept. Numbers 35 and 33. And this says, so ye shall not pollute the land wherein ye are, for blood it defileth the land, and the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein, but by the blood of him that shed it. So Esau shed a lot of blood in that land, both of the northern and the southern kingdom, because when they brought the southern kingdom over there in the transatlantic slaves trade, they were merciless towards us, hanging us on trees, whipping us, beating us to death, and working us into the ground. Esau shed a lot of blood in that land, and that land needs to be cleansed. And it's going to be cleansed when Yahushua returns, because America's going to be utterly burnt with fire. Fire coming from the intercontinental ballistic missiles, and also the fire from the chariots, which are going to be led by Yahushua, which is the one that the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. And the chariots are what the world ignorantly calls UFOs. Now, let's read on in this article. So it's ironic that Esau is, calling the Jake that are over there illegal aliens, when really he's the ultimate illegal alien in that land. But we'll read on. It says, 2 US military aircraft, each carrying around 80 migrants, flew from America to Guatemala on Friday. One C-17 reportedly took off from Biggs Army Airfield in Texas, while another C-17 departed from Tucson in Arizona. But a plan to have another C-17 transport aircraft land in Mexico foundered after the country denied permission. It was unclear why permission to land was denied. Mexico's foreign minister said the country had a very great relationship with the United States and cooperated in issues such as immigration. It was the first time in recent memory that American military aircraft were being used to fly migrants out of the US, according to an official. Such planes have in the past been used to relocate people from one country to another, including in 2021 during the US's withdrawal from Afghanistan. Guatemala and the United States are committed to putting an end to the illegal migration and strengthening border security, starting with 2 flights today, the US State Department said. On Instagram, Guatemalan Vice President Karen Herrera's office posted a video of a military plane landing in Guatemala. A captain said the Guatemalan government remains committed to protecting the integrity of migrants. The vice president will continue to verify the reception of the returnees is in a dignified and safe manner. Some 79 Guatemalans returned, all of whom were adults, including 31 women and 48 men, the Guatemalan Migration Institute wrote. The Pentagon has said US military would provide flights for deportations of more than 5,000 immigrants held by US authorities in El Paso, Texas, and San Diego, California. So the point of this is that Donald Trump ain't fucking about, man. He's been in there uh, just over a week, and he's shaking shit up big time. It says on his first day in the Oval Office, Mr. Trump declared illegal immigration a national emergency and has tasked his military with helping boost security at the Mexico border. The president has promised the biggest deportation operation in US history, with his new border czar Tom Homan saying he'll target the worst first. His executive order on the 20th of January told the Pentagon to send as many troops as needed to obtain complete operational control of the southern border of the United States. Trump, the Trump administration said earlier this week the U.S. military would be sending 1,500 additional active duty troops to the Mexican border. A second tranche of troops could be deployed as soon as next week. Meanwhile, hundreds of people have been arrested across the US by Immigration and Customs Enforcement ICE in places such as Buffalo, New York, Chicago, St. Paul, Salt Lake City, San Francisco, and Denver. It says of the 538 arrests on Thursday, 373 were from criminal allegations and 165 were for non-criminal reasons. So they've used the in the media, they've been talking about they're going after the worst first, be it criminals, murderers, rapists, drug dealers, and the like. But really, Trump don't give a fuck, man. If you're in the United States and you don't have the correct legal documentation to be there, he's looking to kick your ass out of the country, and he ain't pulling no punches. But it's been presented to the people in a way to make them think that, oh yeah, these are the worst of the worst, these are the scum of the earth. We need to get them out of there. And this is Esau's nature anyway, because really Esau, you don't like you tribes. Esau was very open with his hostility towards you so-called Negroes, blacks, but he's got an inner hatred for you Northern Kingdom's tribes too, because you've got to remember that Esau's hatred and his anger is towards the nation of Israel. So it don't matter if you're so-called, Latino, Hispanic, he hates you just as much as he hates the Southern Kingdom, Jake. And now he's beginning to show it. I mean, he's shown it before, but, now it's really being put on display. So let's read on, finish this article, get some precepts. It says, according to the most recent data, the 538 figure was almost double ICE's daily average of 282 in September of 2024. The Trump administration has said its priority is to arrest migrants with criminal backgrounds. See, this is the framing of it, to make it more, to make it seem less draconian, saying that migrants with criminal backgrounds. The Department of Homeland Security said on Tuesday it would allow ICE to arrest undocumented people at places such as schools and churches, which were barred under previous administrations. Criminals will no longer be able to hide in America's schools and churches to avoid arrest, the department said. Now, this is an interesting point because now they've got the power to arrest people in schools and churches, meaning that they're not going to be respecting people's, churches aren't going to be off limits, which is an interesting thing because that means when it comes to, people practicing their faith, that's not going to be an excuse. They'll come in there, kick down the doors, drag you out and take you to where they want you to be. Now, in this instance, they're saying they're deporting these criminals. But, what happens when they decide to detain criminals? Where are they going to send them to? Well, we know where they're going to send them to, these internment camps, So, we'll keep reading. It says, Criminals will no longer be able to hide in America's schools and churches to avoid arrest, the department said. Many of the ICE actions were not unusual. Similar deportation flights also took place under the Biden administration, though not using military planes. NBC News reports that New Jersey officials and immigrant rights supporters have criticized federal immigration authorities for carrying out a workplace raid on a small business. See, they're kicking down doors and dragging people out in the city of Newark without a warrant. In a news conference, Mayor Ras Baraka said several agents with ICE entered the back of the business and arrested 3 undocumented workers and detained and questioned employees who are US citizens. So they detained and questioned employees who were indeed US citizens. People were fingerprinted, pictures of their IDs and faces were taken there. The Democrat mayor said, "I was appalled, upset, angry that this would happen here in this state, in this country, that this would be allowed." So Donald Trump's executive orders on this issue are no joke. And, he's not wasting any time in going into his agenda. Now, I want to get a precept here. This is Psalms 49 and 11. This says, their inward thought, this is the nature of these Edomites. Their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling place to all generations. They call their lands after their own names. So, that land there, which is called America now, was once known as Arsareth, and that was given to our forefathers. Let me get that. This is 2 Ezra 13, chapter 40. Not chapter 40, verse 40. It says, these are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners. So that's the northern kingdom. So would that be the tribes of Gad, Reuben, Manasseh, Ephraim, Naphtali, Zebulon, Simeon, Asher, Issachar. Am I forgetting one? Forgive me if I've forgotten one, but those are the 10 tribes, that were the northern kingdom tribes, which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king, whom Salmanasseh the king of Assyria had led away captive, and he carried them over the waters, so they came into another land. But they took this counsel among themselves, that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt, that they might there keep their statutes which they had never kept in their own land. And they entered into the Euphrates by the narrow places of the river, for the Most High showed signs for them, and held still the flood till they were passed over. For through that country there was a great way to go, namely of 1.5 years, and the same region is called Arsareth. So I believe Arsareth means another land, if I'm not mistaken, if my memory serves me correctly. And that's the landmass of America. and those tribes were dwelling there until around, was it 1492, when Christopher Colon went over there, and then our people started to be conquered by the Edomites, and the Edomites set up shop in that land and drove our people onto the reservations, and killed a lot of them, and they started shipping Jacob, the Southern Kingdom, Jake over there in the transatlantic slave trade to work on that land. So both the Northern Kingdom and the Southern Kingdom were oppressed in the land of America, Babylon the Great, which is why such great judgment is going to be pronounced upon that country. So it's ironic that Donald Trump is now calling these peoples, the Israelites, illegal aliens in that land, when really the Edomites are the real illegal aliens there. But this is what they do. I read the precept which says they call the lands after their own names, and their inward thoughts is that their houses will continue to all generations. So Donald Trump ain't got no love for you Israelites, and as time goes on and we approach closer to the time of Jacob's trouble, this is all gonna be seen. It's all gonna be made manifest, But at the same time, man, I clap my hands that Donald Trump's back in office, because we want this to go down. Because as soon as Esau makes his moves, is as soon as Yahweh Bashem and Yahweh Shai are going to make their moves and bring Esau down and save and deliver the elect of the nation of Israel. So, for you people in the world, this is going to be some scary shit, because your minds haven't been prepared for what's to come. But us that are of the faith, the things written aforetime are written for our learning. So when we see this shit go down, we're not going to lose our minds, because knowledge and wisdom, as the scripture says, should be stability of our times and strength of salvation. So it was already prophesied what was going to come. We know that bad times, evil times are on the horizon, but we have the faith that the Lord Yahweh Shai is in control of it all, and Lord willing we be of the elect. He will deliver us from it all. Now, another interesting thing about this whole story is that realistically, if you're Jake living in the United States of America and you were to get deported, let's say, if you understand the ultimate game plan of Yahweh Shemai Shai, that might not necessarily be a bad thing, because, when the judgment comes, nobody's going to escape in America except the elect. When the nukes begin to fly and Yahweh Shai and his chariots come, nobody's escaping America except the elect. That whole landmass is going to be destroyed. So maybe you don't really want to be in Babylon the Great, Maybe that's not the best place to be right now. So that might really be a blessing in disguise if you're not in that landmass. This is Isaiah 66 and verse 15. It says, "For behold, Yahweh will come with fire, and with his chariots to render his anger with fury, and his rebuke with flames of fire. For by fire and by his sword will Yahweh plead with all flesh, and the slain of Yahweh shall be many." So that's what's coming, fire and destruction to Babylon the Great. That's going to be its ultimate end. Esau's not going to be in rulership forever. This really is going to be like his last hurrah. We're living in the last days, man. We can see things are really heating up. Since 2025, since we turned the corner into 2025, it's like the Most High has slammed his foot down on the accelerator, and a lot of shit is starting to happen now. It's really hard to keep up with all the news that's coming out. So we've got to keep our eyes and ears open and stay spiritually alert to what's going on in the world, because a lot of the shit that Donald Trump is signing executive orders on is stuff that ultimately is going to be used against the men of the Lord in times to come. So he's not coming straight with it. He's not coming straight to attack, the men of the Lord directly right now, but he's building the pretext in order to be able to come down on us hard. When he comes down, as we read in Revelation 12 and 12, it's going to be a great wrath. We'll close out on that, and then I'll read that again, and then I'll close out Revelation 12 and 12. Because we really are coming into these times now. Revelation 12 and 12, I read it earlier, but I'll read it again. It says, therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. So we're living in the last stages of this revival Roman Empire, and shit's really about to get real. That's all I can really say, man. So with that, giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakodash, double honors unto the elders and apostles of Great Millstone at Well. Shalom to the 144,000 elect men of the nation of Israel, and the rest of the elect that are destined to be saved. And I'll catch you on the next lesson, Lord willing. Shalom for now.